Hello and welcome. Are you co parenting with a narcissist or in a custody battle with a narcissist? If you are, I'm sorry you're going through this. I went through this too for over a decade, and I'm here to share my survivor wisdom. And this is some of my best stuff. I've written 5 books for moms. The sixth one is coming out soon. They're available on Amazon. If you stay till almost the end, I will tell you the name of my newest book with my tips, tools, and strategies for making this situation better because I believe there is a third alternative to, it isn't all about just giving in and it isn't about fighting everything. I believe there is a middle way and an alternative, which is what I offer moms in my private groups. So, welcome to my work. Just a quick disclaimer, I'm not a therapist, I'm a survivor. This is my shared survivor wisdom. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't give you direct advice. This is not direct advice. If you're listening on my podcast, you can read the disclaimer in the description. If you're here on YouTube, welcome. Subscribe to my channel. I give out everything I know, the best stuff. So, take what's helpful and leave the rest. If you are ready and willing to learn and do the work, I'm here to teach, coach, and mentor. My background is loving and leaving an alcoholic who I did not know at the time was a narcissist. I write and speak entirely in a pen name, and I say learn all you can because knowledge is power. My newest book, before the one being released in September 2025, is Tame the Narcissist 10 Keys for Better Co parenting to Create Peace and Protection Using Strategy and Skillful Means. I say learn strategies, try strategies. You'll need multiple strategies happening simultaneously, like a legal strategy, a documentation strategy, a getting along strategy. So pick up that book. It's available on Amazon, and I have several books before that, but some of my newest books have my best stuff. What I say is that we pick up tools and we use skillful means with a narcissistic ex. We can use survivor wisdom. I remember reading books when I was going through it, and some moms were put in jail. And I read that and I was like, okay, no matter what kind of stiff resistance I want to put up to protect our child from drinking and driving and every other type of narcissistic abuse and threat to our child, I had to work with wisdom. So you will need the gift of discernment with supporters. You need patience from understanding what you're up against, what a narcissist is, what he typically does, how he destabilizes the target, how he can back, loving, caring moms into corners and set traps that we can easily fall into. So we have to lead with the love we have for our child, be child focused, and have some self compassion for what we're going through. I say learn, heal, and grow through this, come out stronger than before. And you can see some of my books there. I have a website with some articles that I've written on different topics. So you can sample some of my books by heading to my blog. And if you haven't already liked and subscribed, do so because these are free videos and webinars. So here we are. The topic is maturity. The judge is looking for this. Your lawyer needs you to be acting maturely, presenting in a mature manner. And what I discovered, and I do share all my secrets with moms, is that it's the antidote for the narcissistic drama. It actually counteracts the poison. I've seen it counteract the new narcissist supply and just make them go to the mountains, move out of town. This thing called maturity is so valuable to have, and it's actually something we can control, we can grow. If you don't know my background, I found some 12-step programs like Codependence Anonymous and ACOA, and those really helped me grow and get some tools with their slogans, the Serenity Prayers, some sponsors, and I was able to go to a meeting on so many different topics, and I did mature and grow up in that program. I came in emotionally constipated and emotionally unstable and with no emotional sobriety. And I worked with that and other narcissistic abuse recovery programs with a DV therapist and a therapist and my lawyer to become the mature mama bear that I am today. So, my newest book has a guide, and I want to show that to you next. But first, if you look, and some of my posts that I give to the moms that follow me on Instagram or wherever else, Facebook, Don't allow yourself to be intentionally provoked by a narcissist. This means, even though it feels like a reaction, a natural, instinctive reaction, it's still a choice to react. It's just that sometimes we don't have any seconds between reacting and the thing that happens. So if we take back our power of choice, we don't have to be intentionally provoked. We might go in with a game plan or pre-plan that, okay, he's going to try to provoke me at this child transfer. And what can I do? Take a deep breath. What mantra can I have? What piece of paper in my pocket that says don't engage? There's so many tools you can use so that you don't end up looking like the immature, high conflict, drama filled co parent or the micromanaging mom or any of the stuff he's trying to mother blame you for and doing Darvo tactics. So stay self aware. Make sure you're not being backed into a corner of reactive abuse as your form of self defense. Watch out for those Darvo tactics. If you don't know what they are, you can Google that. I didn't come up with the Darvo. I did come up with co parenting abuse, which turns out to be post separation abuse and very typical. So it's not going to be chapter 18 in my new book, but here's my mama bear maturity checklist. And these are 100 keys to maturing as a mom when facing a narcissistic ex. There are so many inherent difficulties being a mom that we must learn to cope using maturity. Life can be especially hard if we're single in a new troubling or unfulfilling relationship, forced to live with our parents, facing homelessness, struggling to make ends meet financially, or still with the narcissist. The challenge of trying to co parent with someone with a personality disorder is fraught with heavy loads of mental and emotionally exhausting issues. Problems tend to arise over everything from clothing to schooling to medical care, and we must adopt mature adult attitudes and grow on many fronts to create a stable, secure, and satisfying family life without the narcissist's continual interference. At the same time, I feel we have to recognize as well as honor our natural instincts to protect our young. It's part of our nature to roar when there's a perceived threat, just like a mama bear would in the wild. However, we're living in an advanced civilization that requires us to tame our reactions and share young, vulnerable children and their life. And that we feel instincts to protect and an obligation to protect. Family court and lawyers drafting legal documents certainly does not feel natural and often feels very foreign and forced. You're not alone if you feel this way. A decade ago, I felt animal urges to claw my ex's eyes out, metaphorically or symbolically, at child transfers where I had to hand over my baby to a known drunk driver who was abusive and incompetent, all because the family court required me to, and he had a high powered, expensive lawyer. At that time, it felt so against my authentic drive to care for, protect, and rear my young. To care for my psyche, I had to power walk after each heartbreaking child exchange to release the surge of energy that rose up in me. Then I had to call my support team to calm down as a way to safeguard my custody case. I had to honor and name what I was feeling and why. I needed to understand myself and that our family court wasn't mother bear friendly, but rather father friendly. Nowadays, we live in a legal world which is so far from the natural world that we evolved in as a species. It has been sad and upsetting for me to see moms lose their children and children lose their moms. My hope is that this list, this guide is helpful in helping you keep your custody and sanity by bringing awareness to what truly matters. And just a note of caution, some of the points listed that I'm going to say are super tough pills to swallow. If any of these feel too hard and heavy, save them for another year of personal growth work. Keep in mind that these are from my perspective, and your circumstances may be different and call for something else to rise up out of your own wisdom, compassion, and love. And here's a key: one powerful antidote to post separation abuse that is being distributed and done to you and inflicted upon you by a narcissist is maturity. I discovered this and I hope you try some of these maturity points out for yourself and get similar results. I invite you to circle which ones or write them down if you're listening with the journal that you need to work on while check marking the ones you have down or already achieved. Being gentle with yourself and use this. Be gentle with yourself and just use this as a self awareness tool. We will always have room to grow as a person and as a mother. So give yourself some grace. So here they are. I'm only going to give you most of them. The rest will be in my book. But a mature adult mother is one who, one, takes responsibility for healing from narcissistic abuse, post-separation abuse, and trauma. She does not expect time to heal all wounds. Self-work is required. Two, gathers and establishes a team of support that is professional, confidential, and she seeks the experts. She doesn't rely solely on complaining to family and friends, venting on social media, or anyone who will listen, or going without legal representation when it's needed. Three, follows the court order even if the narcissist doesn't. Four, doesn't live in resentment, bitterness, or envy. Five, is able to move on past their past and start new chapters of life and living. Six, doesn't take everything personally or in constant offense to the narcissist's tactics, words, or behavior. Seven, refuses to gaslight herself, but reserves her truth for safe people only. Number eight, doesn't constantly stay in defense mode by defending, justifying, and explaining when facing false accusations. 9, recognizes that this is their child's one and only childhood and works to build bonds, make happy memories, create joy, and do all of their parenting time and more. 10, takes parenting classes and enrolls to get useful education to be a better parent. 11, learns from her mistakes, acknowledges them without self-condemnation or self-recrimination. 12, doesn't constantly push an agenda that stresses out themselves, their ex, or their children. 13, does conserve her energy and practices self-preservation at all times. 14, raises the child she has, not the child she dreamed, hoped, planned, imagined, and wished for. 15, doesn't try to live vicariously through her child or children. 16, doesn't try to right the wrongs they experienced as a child to the detriment of their custody case, faces the PTSD to be healed. 17, decides to become skillful when communicating with a personality disordered person and gets into a program, training, reads a book, or works with a mentor or two. 18, stops expecting order from a disordered, personality disordered ex. 19, puts the child first, even if it means being inconvenienced, dealing with some unfairness, or on the receiving end of injustices. 20, practices self-compassion for all the struggles and stress rather than falls into self-pity. 21, outgrows petty jealousy and doesn't try to compete with the narcissist. 22, doesn't focus on their narcissistic ex's parenting, new supply, job, house, new toys, or vacations. 23, stops all ruminating, obsessing, and nostalgia regarding abusive, toxic past relationships by grieving fully and deciding to be a transformed woman. 24, steps into self-respect. 25, doesn't poke a personality disordered narcissist just to irritate, seek revenge, or out of an uncontrolled, unchecked reaction. 25, pauses and asks for help when she doesn't know what to do. 26, looks like you're going to have to find 26 in the book. Oh no, that was 26. 27, makes lists so that nothing gets missed and puts herself on the top of the list. 28, makes time for self-care. 29, apologizes to herself and offers herself forgiveness. 30. Avoids overgiving and overwhelm. Doesn't stretch herself too thin by overcompensating and becoming a resentful giver. 31. Chooses healthy, positive new thoughts, mindsets, and attitudes. 32. Doesn't take narcissistic abuse or family court failures personally. 33. Prioritizes child safety and the child's needs over trying to make the narcissist accountable. 34. Stops the blame game and finger pointing. 35. Focuses on solutions and doesn't marinate in problems. 36. Owns up to any mistakes or bad judgment calls of the past. 37. Lives their life to the fullest, doing things that matter, like getting an education, hobbies, exercising, recovery programs, and even taking much needed vacations. I would say spiritual retreats. 38. Live simply or below their financial means, even if it means filing for temporary financial support. 39. Documents patterns of bad, irresponsible behavior of the narcissist in an organized, dated, and concise way. And I would add to that, summarizes it at the top in 1 or 2 sentences. 40. Doesn't complain, nag, or micromanage their adult co-parent. 41. Gets the children therapy, activities, and support in place and doesn't wait for the narcissist to do it. 42. Pays bills on time, budgets for needs. 43. Focuses on what really matters, like health and protection of themselves and the children. 44. Lets go of small things that advisors like lawyers say will cause more problems for a custody case. 45. Loses gracefully and redirects focus and energy to other areas rather than repeatedly trying to get something unattainable. 46. Learns to ignore things gracefully and not start arguments with argumentative people. 47. Plans for court hearings, negotiations, and trials a little at a time. 48. Is able to easily ask for help with this. 49. Does important things first and gets assistance with difficult things so as to not procrastinate. 50. Handles constructive criticism and uses it as a stepping stone for self-improvement and growth. I will stop right there at 50. There are 100 of these and some bonus ones. I will do that in a second video. And as promised, the name of the upcoming new book is Wisdom for Ending the Co-Parenting War and a Custody Battle with a Narcissist, so you can heal and be able to help your children. So good for you for getting through most of this list. Please don't despair. This list in your notes isn't a place to beat yourself up, but rather an opportunity to grow in a healthy direction. If you read my books, you'll see I made many mistakes as a mom due to ignorance and lack of maturity. Us moms are human too, and it's now clear to see that a good, wise mother practices graceful acceptance with the understanding that all things are temporary and subject to change. I believe that when a wise mom sees the narcissist isn't right, she doesn't attempt to correct all the wrongs of the narcissist, knowing full well that stiff resistance will most likely result, as narcissists don't take any criticisms constructively. The wise mom also watches her delivery of communication, keeps it civil, friendly, cordial, polite, kind, brief, and sparse. She lets go of the failed relationship, the too expensive to maintain house, the stressful but prestigious job, or the teenager who wants to do a different activity. But she doesn't let go of her health and self-compassion. Her wisdom is her wealth, and her peace is her gold. There's for advanced students, if you have all these levels of maturity, there's more self-work in A through Z, and that'll be in the upcoming book. If you need a basics course, I have a navigate around the narcissists. And if you don't know what his tricks, tactics, or traps are, once you're wise to it, you don't have to step in them. You can have strategies, skills, good internal boundaries, set up some self rules as principles. You can adapt, change, endure, survive, and love yourself and your children. So if you are here to learn, got an open mind, willing to hear a different way, I say our sanity is key in this, and you can get solutions for your sanity. These are some of my blogs. The 20 Wants List Power Tool, excellent for prepping to do attorney interviews. I have a how to prepare for family court, learn about my big red binder method and what to keep in there at the ready, and how that actually works to maybe prevent a family court trial. Sometimes if you're ready for something, you don't resist it, it can just go away or dissolve. So there's some keys in there. I have a video on strategies for dealing with a narcissist. You can check out my YouTube channel. And I have a guide, Get the Right Lawyer Guide, for moms who want to interview attorneys and know what to ask and how to focus their attorney, what their attorney is good for. You don't want to bring all of your therapy stuff to the attorney and lose your attorney's focus on filing motions or getting an offense or a defense or leverage ready. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you subscribe to my free newsletter. It's a Substack subscription. It's Navigate Around the Narcissist. It's down in the link below or in the description link. And I say just stay above the narcissist's nonsense as part of your mama bear maturity principles or survival strategies. It is my best survivor wisdom to not engage with the narcissist nonsense, but to silently, quietly document it in a labeled, ordered way. So you don't want to drive yourself crazy documenting everything. I've seen moms do that. We have to document strategically, and I teach that in some of my guides. So thank you so much for watching. Learn my newest skills that gave us peace. I did win all my rights back to my only child, and I do have peace and cooperation with the narcissist. He said it was a miracle, but I realized it was just a shift in perception. So learn how to stop being the narcissist TOB, target of blame. Learn how I changed my position, learn my skillful means. I mean, the Buddha teaches non-resistant skillful means. This is some stuff that I got in my spiritual studies and practices. So maybe these will work for you. There's no guarantee, but it is a alternative to giving up, giving in, or fighting and being in a nonstop war. So if you're drained from the energy battle uh, by your narcissistic ex and you want to try some things that stop it, you're ready to drop the tug of war, you're ready to learn. All five, none, six of my books for moms are on Amazon. I say read them in the order written. Two of them are right now on Audible. So if you don't have time to read, you could listen. I talk about where to put our focus and how to maintain sanity. Some great um, 12-step programs are out there in recovery programs from narcissistic abuse. I have a guide on how to break trauma bonds. So thank you so much for watching, and look for the next video, which will have 50 more of my mama bear maturity items. Thank you for watching. Remember to learn, heal, and outgrow the narcissist.